Keep it high, keep it tight. My name is Jay Morse, the review guy. What am I doing? And welcome back to another 5-minute review. In this one, I dim the lights for the theme of this album. And I am very, very, very interested to talk about this. Usually I try my best not to cherry pick certain albums from certain bands. But where this is concerned, very few albums can have the same effect as this album did on heavy metal as a whole and for this band in general. So today we're going to be talking about The Black by Metallica. The Black Album, which is just their self-titled album. Got its nickname because of the cover. So, let's go ahead and get into this. A lot of people think that Metallica or when The Black was released, very few people said it was that bad of an album. More so, later on down the road, they considered it the catalyst, the starting point for what they consider to be the downfall of the band. They think that the 2000s output up to now, albums like Load, Reload, Death Magnetic, and most recently, Hardwired to Self-Destruct. And the Black Album definitely was a changing point for their sound. Up until that point, they had released 4 full-length albums. They'd released some EPs and compilations, but they had released Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, and Justice for All, and Master of Puppets. And up to that point, they had been successful, but the Black Album, when I say that it helped the genre as a whole, it really catapulted it into the mainstream, whereas this breed of music had not been necessarily previously traditionally played on mainstream radio. And for this album, it is a turning point both in style and lyricism. They transferred from this thrash metal, very aggressive type of music to more, they have more ballad songs, and they experimented with a style that was undeniably more listener-friendly, more fringe line, more enjoyable by different breeds of music fans. So it's completely understandable that this caused a divide, because anytime a band changes their sound, right off the top of my head, the bands that I'm thinking of are bands like Bring Me the Horizon or Asking Alexandria or 30 Seconds to Mars. They change their sound, and it ends up having a kind of backlash effect that can do as much good as it does bad. If some people question the approach that the band has taken to music, they can look at that album and say this is where it started to go downhill. The Black Album's not a bad album. That's not what I'm trying to say, and that's not what a lot of people say. They more say it is the start of something that kind of catapulted Metallica's career into more mainstream success, to the detriment of what people consider to be the quality. And to be fair, their 2000s output isn't necessarily the most impressive. You look at Load and Reload, they're hit and miss. Some people like them, some people don't. But when you get into albums like Death Magnetic and Hardwired to Self-Destruct, they're mixed. And this is a band that was super consistent for their first 4 releases. They continuously got praised and high acclaim, and they were the pioneers and one of the leaders of this just aggressive breed of thrash metal that originated in the 80s with bands like Anthrax and Slayer and Megadeth and Testament and bands like this. And nowadays, people that like that type of breed of music are starting to go over to bands that are leading this genre of type of music, kind of like they used to. Bands that come to mind are bands like Mastodon and Vector and bands like that. And it's questionable whether or not this was the starting point. It definitely helped their career. I mean, I don't think anyone can deny that. It definitely helped their career, and I I think the Black Album's a great album, and I own it, and I think most heavy metal fans probably do, even if they don't admit it. And it just comes down to their style changed, but it's still a good album. It's just it led down a road where some of their releases kind of progressively got maybe less interesting. I mean, that's the best way I can put it, is less interesting. But anyways, guys, I would give this album still a good 8 or 9 out of 10 because I don't think the Black Album on its own is bad. I think it's what it stood for. So I'll talk to you guys next time. It's been Jay Morse Review, guys, signing off, saying farewell.